But any other big issues on your radar screen?
Well, one ongoing issue that never goes away, because I keep on pounding it, and it keeps on getting out there on and on and on, and that is the July 26, 2000 study published in the Journal of American Medical Association, Dr. Barbara Starfield. Impeccable, mainstream credentials, let's call it, all the way up and down the line. Medical system in the United States kills 225,000 people per year. 106,000 as a result of FDA-approved pharmaceutical drugs. That means by the drugs alone, you're talking about the medical system killing more than 1 million people a decade. FDA-approved drugs, while the FDA goes after vitamins that kill nobody. And this is the kind of story, see, that you would, if you had any sense, I don't mean you personally, but the publisher of the Washington Post could sit there and say, oh my God, are you kidding me? I can see the headline now. Medical system kills 1 million per decade with FDA-approved drugs. 1 million Americans per decade. Let's run the headline. Let's get these 3 or 4 reporters and pound on this sucker for a year. You're going to have all kinds of doctors and bureaucrats eventually coming out of the woodwork to confess that they've known about it for the last 10 years, that the government has done nothing about it. The FDA is aware of it. They've covered it up. The CDC, everybody's known about it. You see, the pharmaceutical companies, the whole deal.
And by the way, from what I've seen, these are very conservative numbers in this study. I've seen numbers as much as 150,000, not 7,000 or 20,000 from bad drug interactions, in the hundreds of thousands from infections. I mean, it's becoming epidemic. I can't tell you how many friends I've had who are young, middle-aged, old, whatever, who go in for a minor surgery and die of an infection.
Yeah.
I've had one surgery on a broken bone in my leg when I was 16. They almost killed me in the anesthesia. The IV came out that night when I woke up, blood all over me. I mean, I was lucky to get out of there.
Wow. Yeah, I've been hearing, I know the same stories you're talking about, absolutely. And yes, there are other studies where the numbers are much higher than what I've mentioned. The reason that I harp on this particular study is it's done by one of their own, published in their most prestigious journal. And here they publish it, and then they pay no attention to it, and they do nothing about it.
Yeah, they're saying give up all our rights and let TSA stick their hands down our pants because a couple hundred get killed a year from terror, even if it was real. We know it's manufactured, most of it. And then meanwhile, just ignore the giant elephant in the room of all these big issues like out-of-control healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, we're killing, the medical system's killing 2.25 million people per decade if you take into account medical drugs plus what goes on in hospitals. 2.25 million people per decade. So how many plane crashes into the Twin Towers would it take to get to those figures? And this is going on all the time, day after day, night after night, on and on and on and on and on and on. And, I've got in my head conversations I've had with reporters, editors, all kinds of people that I've alerted to this and their responses to this and why they, wriggle off the hook and refuse to even investigate it or look at it and so on. Well, okay, that's fine. That's what they want to do. This story is going to get out one way or another, and it's going to get to the point where it's just overwhelming. It's overwhelming, you see. And then what's going to happen is all these people that are thinking they're covering it up are going to suddenly be on the defensive. That's a whole different position. Well, we didn't know, yes, and I didn't think, and I was told, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we got you nailed down right here. In fact, we're videoing you as you're tap dancing right in front of us. I'm going to put up on YouTube in the next 3 seconds. See, I mean, they're done. This story is going to get out. And when people wake up in America and say, gee, the medical system's killing 2.25 million people per decade. Wow. And they hear that over and over and over again. Don't you think that this is going to cause people to realize that they've been brainwashed on many different fronts, not just this front? Well, if that's true, what else is true that I don't know about?
Well, sodium fluoride, mercury in vaccines, it goes on. And that dovetails with the fact that the average doctor is brainwashed like the public. But we know that the Rockefeller Foundation and others that took over medicine in the last 100 years in this country and worldwide now, with a standardized modern Western medicine, they got rid of the Hippocratic Oath, all of it. We know it's about population reduction. We know it's about treating symptoms that they basically engineer and foster. And that gets to our last point, how we started killing babies to save money, even if the baby's not sick or didn't even have a mental problem.
Yeah,
they're skipping. I mean, it's bad enough to kill a Down syndrome baby because we always said next it'll be other babies. Now they're just skipping all that and saying, yeah, kill old people and kill healthy kids up to the age 3. Then it'll be age 10. I mean, it's so over the top. Your take on the eugenicist?
Completely over the top. Doesn't matter why. According to this paper published in the Journal of Medical Ethics, the one we're referring to here, the mother could say, well, you know, not really interested in this baby, so let's kill it. Okay, no problem. Or the government could step in and say, well, you know, we've got a certain index here, standards, blah, 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 and so you're going to die, kill this baby, not that baby, this one over here. You know, all of this, these authors are saying, is fine. You don't even need a reason for it. The baby can be completely healthy. They call it after-birth abortion. And they say that the reason that it's okay is because, of course, setting themselves up as the authority, the person, this is not a full person yet. This is not yet an actual person who is aware of goals in life and their interest in striving to attain those goals. Therefore, they're not really people. Therefore, they can be killed. That's their standard. That's what they do.
And this is in a prestigious paper, and it turns out they're just regurgitating what Peter Singer, the head of the Princeton department, all of them. This is the idea that boards decide if you live, and that's the death panels that Bill Gates admits are real. But again, if we don't like his death panels, they don't exist, we're crazy. But the cover of Newsweek, the case for killing Granny, shows a plug pulled out of the wall.
Exactly. Exactly. They are bringing on this, trying to bring on this sense in society where people just say, well, okay, I guess it's all right, you see. It's a program, a propaganda program of planting stories in the public mind, one more ridiculous and insane and unbelievable than the next, to the point where somebody, you know, Joe Q. Public is supposed to say, wow, you know, I mean, I would believe anything now. And then this story comes out about killing babies, and he would just say, yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. And he would just go about his merry day.
Exactly. They call it moving the Overton window, as I know you know. They'll do something really wild and radical so that now things that are still really radical don't look as bad as the insane thing. I mean, next it'll be, you know, the bioethicists say murder your children with baseball bats is not wrong. And then you're like, well, it's not bad to kill babies then. I mean, if you don't beat them in the head.